All right, so it looks like you're interested in the Microsoft Surface Pro 7. Well, we've got a review here from rechargemytoepup.com, and they're going to help us unpack this thing. But we're not just going to like throw specs at you. We want to figure out if this thing's actually good or not. Is this the right device for you?
That's the big question, right?
Mm.
Right? Um, because back when this thing came out, everyone was trying to make this two-in-one thing work. Like
Hmm.
tablet and a laptop all in one. But did they actually nail it with the Surface Pro 7? That's what we're going to find out.
Okay, so Recharge My Toe kicks things off by talking about the design.
Oh,
They say it's got like a sleek look and a durable magnesium body. Is magnesium like super strong or something?
yeah, magnesium's a pretty tough metal, but it's also lightweight,
Mm.
which is perfect for a device you're going to be carrying around all day.
Well,
Think about those old laptops,
hmm.
like clunky and heavy. Nobody wants to lug that around.
Right, yeah. And this review also mentions a built-in kickstand. I can see that being handy for like, watching movies or giving presentations, but is that kickstand sturdy? I wouldn't want it collapsing in the middle of like my big presentation.
From what I've read, it's pretty robust. You can adjust it to different angles too,
Hmm.
which is great for finding that sweet spot, whether you're typing or drawing or just like chilling watching something.
Nice. So it passes the durability test.
Yeah.
But design is only part of the story, right? What about the tech inside?
Well, under the hood, we've got 10th gen Intel processors. Now, these aren't the absolute newest generation anymore, so that's something to keep in mind.
Okay, so not cutting edge, but are they still decent? Like, could I edit photos or videos on this thing?
For basic photo editing and light video work, you should be fine. But if you're doing really heavy editing, you might start to see some limitations.
Gotcha. So maybe not a powerhouse, but decent enough for everyday stuff. What about other specs? RAM storage, all that jazz.
Well, it comes with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is plenty for multitasking. But what really caught my eye is that they went with a solid-state drive for storage.
Okay, I'm seeing solid state drive here. I know that's supposed to be good, but can you break down what that actually means for someone using the Surface Pro 7 every day?
Basically, it means things happen fast. Your computer boots up in seconds, apps launch almost instantly, and everything feels much snappier compared to those older hard drives.
Ah, so no more staring at a loading screen for ages. That's a big plus in my book.
Hmm.
What else does this review highlight?
Well, they mentioned Windows. Hello facial recognition,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Basically, you just look at the camera and it logs you in automatically. It's super convenient and surprisingly secure.
Hold on. So no more typing in passwords. I'm all about convenience. And that sounds pretty futuristic. Are there any other features that stand out?
They talk about the Surface Pen, which is designed for creative types. Imagine sketching diagrams, taking handwritten notes, or even just doodling. It's all about that natural pen-on-paper feel.
Okay, that does sound appealing, especially for someone who likes to brainstorm or take notes the old school way. But what about the battery life? I mean, a device this portable needs to have decent juice, right?
The review says you can get up to 10.5 hours of battery life. Now, that's probably under ideal conditions, but it's still impressive for a device this thin and light.
10.5 hours, that's pretty solid. I could definitely get a full work day out of that, maybe even squeeze in some Netflix after work. Okay, so we've got a good picture of the hardware, but what about the software? Is this thing just a fancy tablet? Or can it actually replace a laptop?
That's the big question everyone's asking, right? We'll dig into that in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore what you can actually do with this device, how it compares to other laptops, and if it truly lives up to the two-in-one hype.
Okay, so we've covered the basics, Sleek design, decent specs, and some cool features like facial recognition and that pen thing. But can this thing actually replace my laptop?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it really depends on what you use your laptop for. RechargeMyToePup.com says it can run full desktop applications, but I'm kind of wondering how well it handles them.
Yeah, like if I'm working on a big project juggling multiple apps, will it keep up or will I be hitting that, dreaded spinning wheel of death?
That's where those 10th gen Intel processors come in. They're capable, but remember, technology moves fast. There are newer laptops out there with 11th or even 12th gen processors that might offer a smoother experience for really demanding tasks.
So it's a trade-off then. Portability and versatility, but maybe not the absolute best performance.
What about for someone who's more into creative stuff?
Yeah.
Like drawing or graphic design?
Yeah.
Is that Surface Pen worth it?
Here's where the Surface Pro 7 really shines.
Yeah.
The pen is incredibly precise and responsive, almost like drawing on real paper. It's pressure sensitive too, so you can create different line weights and textures.
Okay, now that's cool. It's not just a gimmick then. But hold on, this review keeps mentioning the type cover. Is that like a keyboard?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a detachable keyboard that snaps onto the Surface Pro 7, turning it into a more traditional laptop. And it's not just any keyboard, it's actually pretty well designed, with good key travel and a responsive trackpad.
So it's like having two devices in one. Tablet for casual use, laptop for work. But wait, isn't there a downside to this whole detachable thing? Like, what if I lose the keyboard? Or it breaks?
That's a valid concern. The type cover is pretty much essential if you plan on using the Surface Pro 7 for serious work. And yes, it's an added expense which can bump up the overall price.
Okay, so that's something to consider. But what about the tablet experience itself? This review mentions a PixelSense display. What's so special about that?
PixelSense displays are known for their vibrancy and clarity. They offer a wider range of colors and deeper blacks, which makes everything from photos to videos look incredible.
So it's not just about the size or resolution, it's about the quality of the visuals. That makes sense. What about for someone who travels a lot? We talked about battery life earlier, but are there any other features that would be helpful for frequent flyers?
The Surface Pro 7's portability is definitely a major plus for travelers. It's lightweight, compact, and has a long battery life. Plus, with the kickstand, you can easily prop it up on a tray table and watch movies or work on presentations.
All right, so it sounds like the Surface Pro 7 ticks a lot of boxes, but we haven't talked about one crucial thing, gaming. Can you game on this thing?
The gaming question. This is where the Surface Pro 7 falls a bit short. Remember how we talked about those 10th gen processors? Well, they're not really designed for heavy-duty gaming. Plus, there's no dedicated graphics card.
So no Call of Duty on this thing. Bummer. What about less demanding games, like indie titles or casual stuff?
You might be able to get away with some lighter games,
Mm-hmm.
but don't expect a mind-blowing experience. If gaming is a priority for you, there are definitely better options out there.
All right, it's not a gaming machine, but it's still a pretty versatile device overall. But how does it stack up against the competition? I mean, there are a ton of tablets and laptops out there these days.
That's where things get really interesting. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll compare the Surface Pro 7 to its biggest rivals, like the iPad Pro and some of those high-end Lenovo Yoga models. We'll see how it measures up in terms of price performance and overall value.
All right, so we've like dug deep into the Surface Pro 7, the good, the bad, and the maybe not so good for gamers. But how does it actually stack up against the competition, like the other big players in the tablet and laptop world?
Yeah, that's the ultimate test, right? Let's start with the obvious one, the iPad Pro. It's sleek, powerful, has a fantastic app ecosystem, but it's also locked into Apple's world, which might not be for everyone.
Right, so if you're already like knee-deep in the Apple ecosystem, the iPad Pro might be a no-brainer. But what about for someone who prefers Windows or needs to run like specific software?
That's where the Surface Pro 7 has a clear advantage. It runs full Windows 10, so you can use all the desktop applications you're used to, like Photoshop, Microsoft Office, or even PC games if you can handle the performance limitations.
So it's a more versatile machine in that sense. But what about those Lenovo Yoga models? They seem to be pretty popular in the two-in-one world.
The Yoga line is definitely a strong contender. They offer a wide range of models at different price points. And some even come with dedicated graphics cards, which is something the Surface Pro 7 lacks.
So if you're looking for raw power or gaming capabilities, a Yoga might be a better choice. But what about other factors, like design portability or that whole pen experience?
This is where it gets subjective. The Surface Pro 7 has a premium feel, a detachable keyboard that's surprisingly good, and that excellent PixelSense display. But some people might prefer the design or features of a specific Yoga model. It really comes down to personal preference.
Okay, so it's a tough call. There are pros and cons to each device, but let's talk price. How does the Surface Pro 7 compare in terms of affordability?
The Surface Pro 7 starts at a decent price point. But remember, that doesn't include the type cover or the Surface Pen. If you factor those in, it can get pretty pricey.
So you might end up paying a premium for that versatility and premium experience. But what about long-term value? We talked earlier about those 10th gen processors not being the newest. Does that mean this device will be outdated soon?
Well, that's a valid concern. Technology moves quickly. But the Surface Pro 7 is still a very capable machine that can handle most everyday tasks with ease. And Microsoft has a good track record of providing software updates, so it should stay relevant for a while.
So it's not a throwaway device then. You're investing in something that should last you a few years, but ultimately the decision comes down to you, the listener. What are your needs, your priorities, and your budget?
Exactly. If you're looking for a versatile machine that can handle both work and play, the Surface Pro 7 is a strong contender.
Yeah.
But if you're a hardcore gamer, a video editing pro, or just prefer a different operating system, there might be better options out there.
All right, so we've reached the end of our deep dive. We've explored the features, the specs, the pros, the cons, and even the competition. What's the final verdict?
The Surface Pro 7 is a unique device that offers a blend of portability, power, and versatility. It's not perfect, but it excels in many areas, and it could be the perfect tool for the right person.
And that's the key, right? It's all about finding the right tool for the job. We've given you the information, the insights, and the comparisons. Now it's your turn to decide if the Surface Pro 7 is the right fit for you.
And hey, even if you decide it's not for you, hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the two-in-one market and what to look for in a device that can keep up with your lifestyle.
So keep exploring, keep researching, and keep asking questions. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Microsoft Surface Pro 7.